Good morning, students. Today you are going to study about reproduction in plants and animals continuation. So what is reproduction? Reproduction is a process by which organisms produce their own kind for the continuity of survival on the earth. Without reproduction process, there will be no continuity of the organism on the earth. So reproduction is very essential. Know thoroughly about vegetative reproduction. Let's see asexual reproduction. It's a production of offspring by a single parent without the formation and fusion of gametes. So it's a type of reproduction producing an offspring by a single parent. How many parents involving? Single parent. Then the individuals forming know that all will be identical to the parents. All will be identical to the parent. And here the most common method of asexual reproduction is the spore formation in fungi and bacteria. Let's see spore formation in Rhizopus. It is a fungus. Here we can see the structure. This is the rhizoidal hyphae. Then the spore bearing structure, stalk like structure, is called sporangiophore. At the tip it is bearing a sporangium. So inside the sporangium there will be a nucleus. That nucleus will divide many times. Then each nucleus along with some amount of cytoplasm develop into a spore. That spore only develop into young mycelium. So this type of reproduction, asexual reproduction, happening in Rhizopus fungus. See, if you want to see the fungal growth, means you just take a slice of bread and sprinkle water on that and you leave it undisturbed for 2 days. After that you take that slice of bread, you see a spongy outgrowth on the bread. No, that is nothing other than the fungal growth. Here what is the main common method? Spore formation in asexual reproduction. Let's see sexual reproduction in plants. Here two parents involved and producing the gametes. That gametes fused to produce offspring. Let's say the process in which two gametes, male and female, are fused to produce offspring of their own kind. This is sexual reproduction. See, flower is the reproductive organ of a plant. See, the flower, it is nothing other than a modified shoot. With limited growth to carry out sexual reproduction. So which part of the plant is performing sexual reproduction? Yeah, it's a flower. There are 4 holes on the flower. All the 4 holes will be arranged on the cup-like structure. This cup-like structure is called thalamus. What is that? Thalamus. Then outer hole, this is calyx consisting of sepals. Then the next one, corolla, the brightly colored one, that is called corolla. It consists of the petals. Then next one, in third hole, it is androecium, consists of stamen. It is the male part of the flower. Then the next one, innermost hole, this is the gynoecium. Otherwise called pistil. It consists of a carpel. It's a female part of the flower. The outer two, calyx and corolla, they are indirectly take part in the reproduction. So we are calling them as a non-essential hole, otherwise called accessory hole. Then the androecium and gynoecium, they are directly take part in the reproduction. So we are calling that as a essential hole. What are the 4 holes of the flower? Calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. What are essential? Androecium and gynoecium. Why? You know, it's actively participating in the reproduction. I mean by formation of the male gamete as well as the female gametes. Next we can see androecium. It's a male part of the flower. Here it is consists of stamens. It's a stalk-like structure. This is called a filament. Then it bear a bag-like structure, that is called anther. In the anther only produced pollen grains. Which one producing? Pollen grains. Then the pollen grains only consist of male gametes. Let's see pollen grains. Here the pollen grains usually spherical in shape. What is the shape? Spherical in shape. It consists of two layers. Outer exine, it is hard layer. Then it consists of some pore-like structure that is called germ pore. Then the inner layer that is called intine, and it is thin and continuous. Then here it consists of two cells. One is vegetative cell, another one is the generative cell. Then both it consists of a nucleus. Then vegetative nucleus usually larger in size. Then generative nucleus. During mature pollen grain, the generative cell divides mitotically and it will result in the two male gametes. How many male gametes? Two male gametes. Here what is the shape of the pollen grain? Spherical. How many layers? Two layer. What are the two cells at the mature pollen? Generative cell as well as the vegetative cell. Vegetative cell, generative cell. Next we can see the gynoecium. It's a female part of the plant. Gynoecium. It consists of three parts: stigma, style and the ovary. See the stigma, it is the platform for the pollen grains. It is the platform for the pollen grains. Then style, it is the connecting part of the stigma and the ovary. Then the bulged portion is called ovary. Then it consists of the ovule. It consists of the ovule. Let's see ovule. Here the ovule, the main part of the ovule is this part, nucellus. What is this? Nucellus. Then it is enclosed by a covering. This covering is called integument. What is that covering? Integument, protective layer, that is integument. And here it is leaving a gap, a small pore like structure, gap like structure, that is called micropyle. What is that? Micropyle. Then the stalk of the ovule is funiculus. What is that? Funiculus. Then the basal part, it is the chalaza. Basal part is the chalaza. Then this part, in the nucellus, one oval shaped structure will be there towards the micropylar end. That oval shaped structure is called embryo sac. Here only egg or ovum will be found. Here the embryo sac, it consists of 7 celled and 8 nucleus condition. How many cells? 7 cell, 8 nucleus condition. Here 3 cells towards the micropylar end. This part, this is egg apparatus. What is that? Egg apparatus. In the center one only egg, the remaining 2 will be synergids. So the 3 cells towards the micropylar end is called as egg apparatus. What is that? Egg apparatus. In that center only egg, the remaining 2 synergids. Next, the opposite side, near the chalazal end, 3 cells will be there, that is called antipodal cell. What is the name? Antipodal cells. Then the remaining 2 nuclei will be there, that is called polar nucleus. In some plants it may be remain free, some it may be fused. That fused structure is called secondary nucleus. Sometime it may be free. Totally how many cells? 7 cells but 8 nucleus condition. 7 cell and 8 nucleus condition in the embryo sacs. Sexual reproduction involves 2 processes. One is pollination and second one is fertilization. Let's see pollination. Pollination, it's a transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of a flower. So the process of transfer of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of a flower is called pollination. Why there is a pollination? What's the need? So it results in the fertilization. If the fertilization happens, mean only there will be a formation of fruits and seeds. So definitely the pollination is very important. The new varieties of plants also formed because of the cross pollination. So pollination is very important. What are the 2 types of pollination? Self-pollination and cross-pollination. First, self-pollination. Self-pollination is otherwise called autogamy. Self-pollination means transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of the same flower. Otherwise, another flower of the same plant. Same flower, otherwise another flower on the same plant. Example, hibiscus. Here, what are the advantages and disadvantages of self-pollination? Let's see. Advantages. It is possible in certain bisexual flowers, because bisexual flowers means it consists of both androecium and gynoecium in the same flower. So definitely there will be a chance of self-pollination. Then no need for depending on the agents of pollination. Then no wastage of pollen grains. Then what are the disadvantages? Seeds are very less in number. Then the endosperm is minute. Endosperm is the food material for the developing embryo. So definitely the endosperm is minute, so it may produce weak plant. Then the no new varieties will be formed. So self-pollination means transfer of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of the same flower, otherwise another flower on the same plant. Then what is cross-pollination? Transfer of pollen grain from the anther of the flower to the stigma of another plant but the same species. Another plant but the same species. Example, apple and grapes. Here what are the advantages and disadvantages? Here advantages: seeds produced because of the cross pollination develop and germinate properly, and it will result into a better plant. I mean new varieties will be formed, and here more viable seeds will be produced because of the cross pollination. Then what are the disadvantages? It may fail due to distance barrier. If one plant is here, then another plant is far away, means definitely there will be a chance of pollination may fail. Then more wastage of pollen grains because of the distance. Then it may introduce some unwanted character. Then flowers depend on external agencies for pollination. It may be a wind, or it may be a water, or some insects, otherwise some animal. So definitely there will be a need. So if that agency is not there, so pollination may fail. Let's see the agents of the cross pollination. Here wind, water, insects and animals. So the pollination is done by wind. It is called anemophily. Here the flowers, it want to produce more amount of pollen grains. Then the pollen grains wanted to be small and smooth and dry and even lightweight, because it easily want to carry away by the wind. Then here the stigmas wanted to be large and protruding to catch the pollen grains. Sometimes it may be hairy also to trap the pollen grains. So if the pollination is done by wind, it is called anemophily. Then here the pollen grains wanted to be lightweight, then the stigmas wanted to be large. Then the pollination by water. So if the pollination is done by water, it is called a hydrophily. Here the pollen grains are produced large in number, and it wanted to be float on the surface of the water till they land on the stigma of the female flower. Example here hydrilla and vallisneria. Here the vallisneria, it's a monoecious plant. Monoecious mean male plant and female plant separately. Male plant, it produces the male inflorescence, and it may produce male flowers. That male flowers freely float on the water, then it will reaches the female flower on the another female plant. Then it will reaches the stigma of the female flower, and there will be a fertilization. This is an example for hydrophily. Hydrophily, pollination is done by water. Next, pollination by insects. It is called entomophily. Entomophily. So the here the flowers want to attract the insects, so definitely it want to be brightly colored, and it want to produce a nice smell, and it want to have more amount of nectar. Then the pollen grains are larger in size. Then the exine wanted to be spiny, so it easily attached on the sticky stigma. Among 80% of the entomophily, which one will participate more? Means it is nothing other than honeybees. Which one? Honeybees. Next one, pollination by animal. It is the zoophily. So here the flowers wanted to be brightly colored and large in size, and may produce smell also. Here the sunbird, it pollinates the flowers of canna. Then squirrels will pollinate the flowers of silk cotton tree. So what are the agents of cross pollination? Wind, water, insects, animals. If the pollination is done by wind, it is anemophily. By water, hydrophily. If it is insects, entomophily. If it is by animals, it is zoophily. In the insects also different categories will be there. For example, if the pollination is done by ant, it is called myrmecophily. What is that? Myrmecophily. Many examples are there. We can see the fertilization. Fertilization means the fusion of male and female gamete. When the pollen grains fall on the stigma of the flower, suitable flower, it started to germinate. Then it will be germinate and it will form a tube-like structure through the germ pore, that is called pollen tube. What is that? Pollen tube. And it discharge its content into the pollen tube. There the generative cell divides and it will form a two male gametes. How many male gametes? Two male gametes. Then the pollen tube with the two male gametes reaches the embryo sac. Here the one male gamete fuses with the egg. So the fusion of male gamete and the egg, female gamete, is called fertilization, otherwise called syngamy. That results in the zygote. That zygote develop into embryo. Then the second male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus. Results in the primary endosperm nucleus. The primary endosperm nucleus develop into endosperm. That is the food material for the embryo. So two fusion happening here. So that is called double fertilization. One male gamete fuses with the egg. Another male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus. That is called double fertilization. Then triple fusion means the second male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus. It results in the primary endosperm nucleus. That primary endosperm nucleus is a triploid condition. So the fusion results in the triploid nucleus. That is called triple fusion. It is very peculiar for the angiosperm. Next, what's the significance of fertilization? So it stimulates that ovary to develop into fruit. Then it helps in the development of new character from two different individuals. Then some post fertilization changes will be there. Here the ovule develop into seed after fertilization. Then the integuments develop into seed coat. Then the ovary enlarges and develop into fruit. Then the seed contain future plant, that is the embryo, which develop into seedling. So after the fertilization, the ovule develop into seed. The integument will develop into seed coat. Then the ovary will develop into fruit. Dear students, I'll give some questions. You can write that as a self-test. Thank you.